So how do you feel about the war in Iran?
I think Trump's doing the right thing, honestly.
What's up?
I got no comment on that.
You don't know why?
Nah, I'm just taking a guess.
You're just guessing that he's doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Don Lemon took a brutal snapshot of the country's electorate with this interview.
How do you feel?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Trump's doing the right thing.
Is this a joke?
What?
Is this a joke?
Yeah.
It's
No,
a joke?
it's not. It's not.
All right, you can home, bro. Or walk home, sorry.
Damn, I don't know what just happened. All right.
But he doesn't even know why.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just think, like, it's not good for the economy. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't really give a war, smoke weed, get money.
And there you have it. A blind follower of Trump, a man who knows the war is wrong, yet can't pin down a definitive reason outside how it personally affects him, and a completely checked out dude just living his life detached from reality. Sadly, the first and final interviewees are exactly who Trump and his inner circle are relying on to parrot these absurd statements with zero questioning.
Mr. President, how would it not be a war crime to strike Iran's bridges and power plants?
Because they killed 45,000 people in the last month, more than that. I think it could be as much as 60. They kill protesters, they're animals. And we have to stop them, and we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They want a nuclear weapon. They've been trying for a long time. I stopped them with the Obama horrible Iran nuclear deal. I stopped them in a lot of different ways. We got rid of Soleimani, the evil genius. He was an evil genius. We got rid of him. And then we stopped him with the B-2 bombers not so long ago. And if we didn't do it, Israel and the Middle East would have been extinguished by now.
You could spend hours thoroughly debunking all of the statements Trump just made here, but let's just focus on the most pressing and consequential one for now.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
Our military, the greatest and most powerful by far anywhere in the world, hasn't even started destroying what's left in Iran. Bridges next, then electric power plants. New regime leadership knows what has to be done and has to be done fast. President Trump.
President of the United States posting on social media, in part this: a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Trump, however, is leaving the door open for a breakthrough, adding, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. Trump has been threatening this level of devastation for weeks now, repeatedly delaying the attacks on critical infrastructure, like power plants and bridges, attacks that could amount to war crimes.
Over 100 international law experts, professors from Yale, Harvard, Stanford, Georgetown, NYU, Berkeley, former government legal advisors, former judge advocates general, leaders of the ACLU, Human Rights Watch, just signed an open letter warning that the United States is committing war crimes in Iran. Not might be, is. Let me walk you through what they said. First, the decision to go to war. The strike's launch February 28th violated the United Nations Charter. Period. Iran did not attack the United States. Iran did not attack Israel. The Security Council did not authorize the use of force. There was no imminent threat. The UN Secretary General condemned the attack. The presidents of the 2 leading international law associations in America condemned the attack. This war is illegal under the most basic framework of international law that has governed the world since 1945. Second, the conduct of the war. According to the Iranian Red Crescent, over 67,000 civilian sites have been struck. 498 schools, 236 health facilities, 1,443 Iranian civilians have been killed, including 217 children. That's just in 1 month. A primary school was shot up. People killed there too, many of them children. Pentagon's own preliminary investigation determined the U.S. conducted the strike based on outdated intelligence. Trump blamed Iran. He lied. Third, the rhetoric. Pete Hegseth declared no quarter, no mercy for our enemies from the Pentagon podium. Under international law and under the Pentagon's own law of war manual, declaring no quarter is explicitly forbidden. It is a war crime. Trump said he doesn't need international law. He said the U.S. may strike Iran just for fun. And then there is Section 3C, threats to energy infrastructure. Trump threatened to destroy Iran's power plants, desalination facilities, oil infrastructure. He said he could do things so bad they could literally never rebuild as a nation again. The ICRC president responded by saying war on essential infrastructure is war on civilians, because that is exactly what it is. Desalination plants provide drinking water. Power plants keep hospitals running. These are not military targets. They're survival systems for tens of millions of human beings. And any sane, reasonable person, regardless of party, should recognize that deliberately destroying a civilian population's access to water and electricity, that's textbook definition of war crimes. And fourth, Hegseth has systematically dismantled every safeguard designed to prevent these exact atrocities. He removed the senior military lawyers. He replaced the judge advocates general for all three branches. He abolished the civilian protection teams. The 2026 National Defense Strategy does not even mention civilian protection or international law. He called rules of engagement stupid. He's not just ignoring the law, he's erasing the infrastructure that enforces it. And this war is costing American taxpayers between $1 and $2 billion every single day.
What do you say to Americans who are not a fan of the war?
They're foolish, because the war is about one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Had we not broken the Barack Hussein-Obama agreement, you know what I'm talking about, the Iran nuclear deal. This is years ago, my first term. You would have had a total, Israel would have been gone, extinguished. Israel would have been wiped off the face of the earth, and the entire Middle East would have been, at a minimum, in big trouble. But I did it. That was phase one. We killed Soleimani. Without Soleimani, if they had Soleimani, it would be a whole different thing. Maybe. Would still be winning, but it would have been harder, because we are obliterating that country. And I hate to do it, but we're obliterating, and they just don't want to say uncle. They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will. And if they don't, they'll have no bridges, they'll have no power plants, they'll have no anything. I won't go further, because there are other things that are worse than those two. And we might have, well, the thing, if I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home. If it were up to me, I'd take the oil, I'd keep the oil, and would make plenty of money. And I'd also take care of the people of Iran, much better than they've been taking care of it.
How is it taking care of the Iranian people if you're bombing?
Yeah, who you with? Who you with?
PBS.
Well, that's a radical left group of lunatics that you're with. Let me just tell you, very fair question. The Iranian people, when they don't hear bombs go off, they're upset. They want to hear bombs because they want to be free. And the only reason they're not out protesting, you know that, is because they were informed that if they protest, like the wrestler and his friends, if they protest, they will be shot immediately. And that's an edict, that's in writing. If they protest, if they go out in the streets, they will be immediately shot. They don't have guns. You know, we sent some guns, but the group that was supposed to give, which I said would happen to my people, I said it, I called it exactly. We sent guns, a lot of guns. They were supposed to go to the people so they could fight back against these thugs. You know what happened? The people that they sent them to kept them, because they said, what a beautiful gun, I think I'll keep it. So I'm very upset with a certain group of people, and they're going to pay a big price for that. But the Iranian people will fight back as soon as they know they're not going to be shot, and as soon as they can get weapons.
Easter, surrounded by children at an egg roll, told reporters that the United States is, quote, obliterating Iran. He moved to the briefing room and said the entire country of Iran can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Let's quote. He said after his 8 p.m. Tuesday deadline, Iran will have no bridges, no power plants. It will be sent back to the Stone Ages. He outlined a 4-hour blitz to achieve what he called complete demolition. And when a reporter asked whether destroying civilian infrastructure would punish the Iranian people for the actions of their government, he said they would be, quote, willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. He claimed the U.S. has intercepted messages from Iranians saying, please keep bombing. And then, and this is the part that should make your blood run cold, when asked directly whether targeting civilian infrastructure would violate the Geneva Conventions, Trump said, you know what's a war crime? Having a nuclear weapon. That is not an answer. That is a confession disguised as a deflection. He did not deny it. He redefined the term so it would not apply to him. That is what authoritarians do. They do not argue within the law, they rewrite the law to fit their actions. And here's the lie at the center of all of it. Trump keeps saying this war is about preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. He keeps saying the United States is acting in the interest of Iranian people. But the same man who claims to be liberating Iran is threatening to destroy their drinking water, their electricity, their bridges, and their hospitals. The same man who says he cares about the Iranian people killed 175 of their children in a school on a day and then blamed Iran for all of it. Not about nuclear weapons. He moves the goalposts every single week, from missiles to the Navy to the Strait of Hormuz to oil tolls to regime change to whatever he feels like saying at the podium on any given day. Over 100 of the most credentialed legal minds in this country are telling you this is illegal. The UN Secretary General is telling you this is illegal. The Pope is telling you this is immoral. ICRC is telling you this is a war on civilians. And Donald Trump is standing at the White House on Easter next to a man dressed as the Easter Bunny, telling you the entire country can be taken out in one night. Not strength, that's madness. And the American people are paying for it in blood and treasure and in whatever is left of our moral standing in the world.